Assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There's a reason you clicked this video. Something inside of you is stirring, something unseen, but deeply felt. This message is not entertainment. It's a spiritual alert, a call, a sign. You are not just scrolling, you're being summoned. And I need you to listen with your heart, not just your ears. You see, some of you have been walking around with a strange heaviness lately, like something is about to happen. Like you're supposed to be preparing for something, but you can't explain what it is. You've lost interest in the things that once kept you busy. Conversations feel shallow. The world feels loud, but your soul wants silence. You don't even recognize yourself anymore. But deep down, you know you're not broken, you're being transformed. This is no ordinary confusion. This is the pool of purpose. And chosen ones. Yes, I'm talking to you. That spiritual tug you feel. That's divine alignment in motion. Listen, Allah doesn't call everyone the same way. He doesn't tap the shoulder of the entire crowd. He whispers into the hearts of the few who are meant to shift the atmosphere around them. That's why your life feels different. You weren't made to blend in. You were created to stand apart. If you've been feeling isolated, it's not rejection. It's redirection. If your circle has shrunk, it's because elevation requires separation. And let's be real, it's not always pretty. This isn't some glowing Instagram post with a perfect caption. No, this is real. This is tears in secret. This is midnight prayers where words fail, but your heart screams. This is being misunderstood by the people you love most, because they don't hear what you hear. This is divine surgery. And yes, it hurts before it heals. But let me drop something on you right now. You're not losing your mind. You're waking up. The fog in your life? It's not confusion, it's a clearing. The discomfort? That's your soul outgrowing the spaces that no longer fit your assignment. And if you've been wondering why nothing feels the same anymore, let me say it plainly. You're not meant to return to who you were. You've been chosen for who you're becoming. So before we even go deeper, promise yourself one thing. Don't walk away from this moment. Don't shrug it off. You didn't arrive here by accident, and I'm not here to waste your time. What's about to be said may confirm everything you've been silently carrying. Your journey, your struggles, your delays. They all make sense when you see them through the lens of being chosen. But here's a gentle reminder. Being chosen doesn't mean things will be easy. It means your story carries weight. It means Allah is preparing to use you in ways that will impact people you haven't even met yet. But before He sends you, He sanctifies you. He breaks what's weak, strengthens what's hidden, and exposes what must be left behind. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. And it's happening now. You're not watching this by mistake. You're hearing this because it's time. Time to wake up. Time to answer. Time to step into the identity that's been following you since the day you were born. And trust me, once you understand what it really means to be chosen, you'll never go back to sleep again. You can feel it, can't you? The quiet pull inside of you. The deep sense that your path was never meant to look like anyone else's. You've probably tried to fit in before, to walk the same path as others, to do what was expected. But no matter how hard you tried, something always felt off. And here's the truth you've been needing to hear for a long time. The reason your life doesn't look like everyone else's is because your soul was never designed for common assignments. Allah set you apart from the very beginning, and now He's bringing that calling to the surface. Being chosen doesn't always come with a grand announcement. Sometimes, it comes with a deep internal shift. One day, you just can't pretend anymore. The things that used to entertain you now feel like noise. The conversations that once gave you comfort now feel like distractions. The truth? You've outgrown the things that once fed your lower desires, because Allah is now feeding your soul. And maybe you've been fighting it. Maybe you've been trying to hold on to the old version of yourself just a little longer. You know the one. The version that played it safe, that kept quiet, that avoided discomfort. But chosen souls don't get the luxury of hiding forever. Sooner or later, Allah puts a mirror in front of you, not to shame you, but to awaken you. He shows you the gap between who you are now and who you're meant to be, and that gap is where many people run. But not you. You're still listening, and that means you're still being called. Let's go deeper. Have you ever noticed how people react to your presence? Some are drawn to you, others are unsettled. You don't even have to speak. Your silence carries weight. Your energy shifts rooms. Why? Because when you carry divine purpose, even your stillness speaks. You don't just walk into spaces, you change their atmosphere. And that's not arrogance, that's alignment. But here's something that might surprise you. Most chosen ones don't feel chosen at all. In fact, they often feel like the most broken, the most rejected, the most unworthy. That's because Allah doesn't choose based on appearance, popularity, or perfection. He chooses based on the purity of the heart, the kind that's been humbled, crushed, and rebuilt through patience. The kind of heart that bends in sujood, that weeps in silence, that longs for Him even when no one else sees. So if you've been feeling unqualified, know this. That's often the first sign you're ready. Allah uses those who have nothing left to rely on but Him. He raises the ones who've been knocked down so many times they stopped counting. He strengthens the ones who have cried out, "Ya Allah, I can't do this anymore," only to find the strength to keep going one more day. That's not weakness. That's preparation. That's being chosen. And it's not about being better than anyone else. It's about being different, divinely different. You see the world differently. You feel time passing differently. You even sin differently. Not without guilt, but with a deep ache that leads to repentance. You can't stay in the same place others are comfortable in. And that's the proof. When your soul becomes restless in the wrong spaces, it's because it's trying to guide you to the right one. And I know sometimes it feels like no one gets it. Like you're speaking a language no one around you understands. But you're not alone. The chosen walk a narrow path, but they walk it with Allah as their guide. And when He walks with you, solitude becomes sacred, not scary. So if you've been craving clarity, if you've been looking for signs, if your heart feels like it's waiting for something, this is it. This is the message you were meant to receive today. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. Let's talk about distractions, the silent enemies of your purpose. Because whether you've realized it or not, being chosen doesn't just attract blessings, it also attracts battles. And no, not the kind you see coming. The worst ones are quiet, subtle, dressed up as things that seem harmless. Suddenly, your free time becomes consumed by endless scrolling. Your attention is pulled in every direction but upward. Your prayers become mechanical. Your mind stays busy, but your heart feels distant. Sound familiar? This isn't random. When Allah chooses you, distractions increase. Not because you're weak, but because your focus is valuable. The enemy doesn't waste time trying to derail people with no destination. Only those who are headed towards something meaningful. That's you. You're the one being targeted, not because you're lost, but because you're getting closer. And the closer you get, the louder the noise becomes. But don't be fooled. Not everything that looks harmless is harmless to your soul. Sometimes it's the company you keep. People who smile in your face but did secretly pull your energy downward. Other times, it's the endless cycle of seeking validation, scrolling, posting, comparing. Or maybe it's your own thoughts, the ones that whisper, "You're not ready. You're not good enough. You've messed up too much." Let's expose that for what it is. Resistance. Not from Allah, but from the layers trying to keep you from becoming who Allah is shaping you to be. And here's the twist most people miss. Distractions don't always show up as temptations. Sometimes they come dressed as responsibilities, opportunities, or even good deeds. Things that aren't bad on the surface, but are still pulling you away from your inner assignment. You're helping everyone but neglecting your own soul. You're saying yes to everything except the calling deep inside you. And let me be honest with you, you can't do everything. Chosen ones aren't called to be everywhere. They're called to be aligned. So ask yourself, where is your attention going? Because attention is spiritual currency. Whatever you give it to, you feed. And what you feed grows. If you keep feeding distractions, confusion will grow. But if you feed presence, purpose will rise. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware. It's about noticing when you're drifting, when you're numbing yourself, when you're filling the void instead of sitting with it. Witty truth, you're not burned out. You're just distracted. The real you is buried under notifications, empty conversations, and spiritual neglect. But the fact that you're still watching this means something in you is pushing back. That part of you is precious. Protect it, water it, nurture it, because the distractions will keep coming. But they only win if you stop paying attention to your inner compass. And I get it. It's tempting to run, to find something, anything, to silence the discomfort. But here's the spiritual reality. The discomfort is the signal. It's not there to harm you, it's there to wake you. When you feel that agitation inside, don't dismiss it. Investigate it. Ask what Allah is trying to show you. Because every distraction that pulls you away is a test to see if you remember where you're going. And let's be real. If the enemy can't destroy you, he'll distract you. And if he can't distract you, he'll try to delay you. But just know on the ones don't move by pressure. They move by purpose. That means you don't respond to every ping, every message, every emotion. You slow down. You listen to the time. You turn. Because once you know you're chosen, you can no longer afford to live like you're random. And maybe this message today is your moment of return. Your signal to pause the noise and reclaim the silence. Because it's in the silence that Allah speaks loudest. You just have to listen and block out everything that isn't Him. Let's address the part of the journey no one likes to talk about. The pain. Because let's be honest, when you're chosen, you're also challenged. And it's not the kind of challenge that gives you a warning or a countdown. It's the kind that shows up quietly, unexpectedly, and shifts your entire world. People leave. Plans fall apart. What used to work suddenly doesn't. Your prayers feel heavy. Your emotions get louder. Your path feels foggy. And deep down, you start to ask, why me? But here's the sacred truth. Your pain is not punishment. It's preparation. What feels like breaking is actually building. You're not being destroyed. You're being redefined. And no, that's not a cliché. That's reality for anyone who's been called by Allah to carry something greater than themselves. When Allah chooses you, He strips you of everything that can't go where you're headed. And that includes people, habits, mindsets, even parts of your old self. You're not just being elevated, you're being emptied. Why? Because you can't carry the weight of your calling with hands full of distractions. You can't hold divine wisdom with a heart still attached to worldly noise. So the hardship you're facing right now, it's not a curse, It's a cleansing. And it doesn't always feel spiritual. Sometimes it feels like you're losing everything, like your prayers are hitting walls, like your heart is being stretched beyond what it can bear. You wonder if Allah is silent, or if you're simply not worthy anymore. But let this sink in. The silence you're experiencing is not absence, it's intimacy. When Allah draws you into difficulty, He's actually pulling you closer. Not to punish, but to purify. You see, most people think that being chosen means being celebrated. But in truth, being chosen often begins in isolation. Think about it. Prophets, scholars, the most righteous souls, they were all tested through separation. They walked through fire long before they walked in purpose. Why? Because fire doesn't just burn, it refines. It removes the unnecessary. It sharpens what was dull. And you, my friend, are being sharpened. And yes, I know the process is brutal, but the transformation it brings is sacred. Allah never wastes pain. Every tear, every sleepless night, every time your heart broke, it was recorded. Not a single moment went unseen. And when Allah allows the crushing, He also prepares the rising. But it doesn't come instantly. It comes when you've surrendered, when you've stopped clinging, when you've finally said, Ya Allah, I trust you even when I don't understand you. Let's get real. The old you can't carry the next season of your life. That version of you that tolerated disrespect, that ignored their instincts, that played small to keep the peace, that version is being buried. Because the next version needs to walk with authority. It needs to know the cost of obedience. And obedience always costs comfort. Here's a witty truth that might sting a little. If your life feels like it's falling apart, maybe it's because the lie you were living can't survive the truth you're stepping into. Sometimes the breakdown isn't the enemy. It's the doorway. You're not being rejected by life. You're being realigned by the Most High. So if you're in the middle of something that feels unbearable, take heart. You're not alone. You're not forgotten. And you're not broken beyond repair. You're being stripped so you can be strengthened. You're being emptied so you can be filled with something eternal. This pain is not the end. It's the opening. And when the dust settles, you won't just survive it. You'll carry wisdom that only pain could teach. You'll walk differently, speak differently, pray differently. Because the person who emerges after the test is never the same as the one who entered it. Let's not sugarcoat it. The journey of a chosen soul is heavy. Not because you're weak, but because the weight you carry was never meant for just anybody. You've probably wondered why you feel everything so deeply, why your heart absorbs pain like a sponge, why you can walk into a room and sense energy without anyone speaking, why people come to you for advice, for presence, for comfort, even when you're the one quietly falling apart. But that's the reality of being spiritually sensitive in a world addicted to numbness. You feel more because you were created to carry more. Not burdens, but responsibility. And let me be real with you. That sensitivity, the one you've tried to shut off, that's not a flaw. It's a gift. A gift from Allah that allows you to see between the lines, to read people's hearts before they speak, to hear nuance as a conversation. You weren't built to blend in. You were built to break chains, even if they aren't your own. Here's something many people won't tell you. Sometimes, being chosen feels like being invisible. You give your all, and it goes unnoticed. You pour out love and receive silence. You pray for others while no one checks on you. And in those lonely spaces, it's easy to believe that your efforts are wasted, But let this truth settle into your heart. Allah sees what they overlook. Your secret sacrifices, your late-night tears, your discipline when no one is watching. All of it is recorded. Not one act of obedience goes unseen. Not one moment of restraint is wasted. And maybe right now, you're in the middle of something that feels like spiritual exhaustion. You're tired of waiting, tired of trusting, tired of hoping. You've planted seeds in silence and watched others harvest before you. And it hurts. But can I remind you of something simple yet life-shaking? Delays aren't denials. They're divine design. You're not being overlooked. You're being positioned. What if Allah is stretching your patience to expand your capacity? What if what you're waiting for is so heavy with blessing that your current self isn't strong enough to hold it yet? What if this waiting room is actually a training ground? And maybe you've whispered it recently. Why is it taking so long? But let me ask you back. What if Allah is still writing the parts of your story that will blow your mind? You're not being punished. You're being prepared. And preparation feels a lot like being buried. But in truth, you're being planted. And when the time is right, you won't rise the same way you fell. You'll rise wiser, softer, sharper, with less ego and more depth, with less noise and more presence. You've heard the message, not a lecture, not just inspiration, but a wake-up call designed for the soul that knows it's been called, but hasn't fully responded. And if you're still here, still breathing in every word, then it's not a matter of interest anymore. It's a matter of divine accountability. Your heart has been stirred, your distraction have been exposed, your excuses lovingly dismantled. And now, it's just you and Allah. No more noise, no more delays. And maybe you've spent a long time asking for signs, waiting for confirmations, hoping for clarity. But deep down, you already knew. The stillness you felt in certain places, the discomfort in old environments, the whisper in your chest that wouldn't let you settle, that was Allah speaking. Not through thunder or fire, but through your fitra, the deep instinct that aligns with truth when everything else confuses you. You are not random. You are not lost. And you are definitely not disqualified. You've been chosen, and it's time to walk like it. Not arrogantly, not anxiously, but with a heart that surrenders before it strategizes, with a soul that remembers its owner before it reacts to this world. You're not waiting on a breakthrough anymore. The breakthrough is waiting on you. Now, before you leave this moment, I promised you something. I promised you a prayer, and I want you to sit with it. Not just hear it, but let it settle in your chest like water on dry land. Because this isn't just a prayer for now. It's for every hidden corner of your soul that's been aching for relief, for realignment, for return. Oh Allah, to the one listening right now with a tired heart, give them rest. To the one who feels distant, bring them near. To the one who's been crying in silence, replace every tear with mercy. To the one who's been searching for meaning, guide them with a light no darkness can overcome. Ya Allah, for the one who has delayed obedience out of fear or uncertainty, soften their heart, strengthen their steps, and pull them closer to you than they've ever been before. Forgive their past, empower their present, and bless their future. Make them a light in this world, a servant who walks in purpose, and a soul who never forgets that being chosen by you is the greatest honor of all. Ameen.